Check, 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 check. Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? I had to do a reset. Could you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Somebody please comment. Let me know if the audio is fixed. Audio fixed? Audio fixed? Anybody? Please comment if you can hear the audio. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. For some reason, my mic decided to die. So let's just get on past things and get on to the questions. I apologize for that. It's not normal for my audio to die, so something happened on my computer. So let's get on with questions, and we will just kind of drop all this spiel. Just a reminder, guys, again, if you're new here, post up your questions. There are no dumb questions, no stupid questions. If you've heard it 1,000 times, Rob, Luke, no sound. Yeah, sorry. It gets buried down below, so I apologize for that. So let's get rolling. Paladin first. Well done, Paladin. What are the two biggest diet mistakes you most commonly see made? Well, I guess we could look at them from a fat loss standpoint and a bulking standpoint. The biggest, let's look at one from each. The bulking standpoint is, well, they're both the same thing, really, inconsistency. If you're the guys that are trying to build muscle that are inconsistent with their diet or are never gaining or stay in limbo, at some point, you can't just continue to stay at maintenance level and, hope to maximize your muscle building. I see this occasionally. Guys that'll just not do anything, just stay in limbo, not take nutrition seriously. And I want the best for them, but if you're not going to take nutrition seriously, you're not taking lifting seriously. That's the bottom line. And the scale's got to be doing something. In the world of body composition, the scale has to be doing something. It either has to be moving up or moving down. You either have to be building muscle or losing fat. That's the body composition game. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have periods where you stay at maintenance. Like, say you cruised into summer and you just want to hold your physique at a certain level. That's fine. What you doing, Snoopy? That's fine. We can have periods like that when they were on purpose, right? Let's say you get to like the holidays and, like November, December type of time of year, and you don't want to gain weight. You just want to hold. So you don't want to bulk. You don't want to cut. You want to head into the new year, just looking good. That's fine. That's on purpose. But the guys that are trying to bulk or build muscle that don't take nutrition seriously enough. And let me just set my dog down here. Look, I'm very patient. I try to be very tolerant and work with folks. But at some point, if this is you, if this is what's happening to you, you need to decide what you're going to do, right? Whether you're going to move forward and build muscle, whether you're going to start tracking your calories, whether you're going to start focusing a little bit more. You can't. It's not good enough to just like, oh, I'm inconsistent tracking calories, whatever, and just kind of brush it off. It's nothing. Nothing is harder for me to see than somebody who is training hard but does not take their nutrition seriously. Nothing is more troublesome than seeing that, because it's just wasted time. It's not that taking care of yourself is ever wasted, but we're lifting. Sorry, we just had the internet take a crap. What more can happen today, right? But it's just wasted time. We really, I don't like to see anybody waste their time. So that's the same common mistake that is made in cutting. Not so much like lifters. Lifters tend to be more precise in general when it comes to cutting. But when it comes to losing fat, folks that have more weight to lose, excuse my language here, but they tend to fuck off too much. Just being honest. I understand it's not an easy process, but the reality is you can't expect to eat like a pig every weekend or every third day and lose any weight. So, not planning, not preparing, not picking meal structure, just flying by the seat of their pants, thinking you can overeat once a week or twice a week and lose fat. That's called maintenance mode. Like when I want to maintain my weight, I have to be super strict during the week, and then I can be a little bit looser during the weekends. And this is how I maintain. But when people are trying to lose fat, they will sometimes be surprised that the day or two they go over once a week, that they're still, I'm having a good week. You were having a good week until you blew it on Saturday and went over by 750 calories. That's going to set you back. That's going to put you back at maintenance level. And look, I'm not putting anybody down here, but we got a mission. It's fat loss. You want to lose fat? Then stick to the damn program. You don't want to lose fat? Keep deviating. You want to build muscle? Stick to the damn program. You don't want to build muscle? Keep the scale at the same level. See how hard it is to build muscle. Look, all this stuff on YouTube, maintaining, trying to maintain the same weight and build muscle. There are certain people that can do it to a minor degree, and you'll see the comments on YouTube. Oh, I did it, and I gained 20 pounds of muscle holding the same weight. I'm skeptical, right? Because that means you have to lose 20 pounds of fat at the same time. But the reality is, despite all the fringe comments, is how hard this makes the process, muscle gain or fat loss. It makes it impossibly hard. So the biggest mistakes are not planning your diet. Muscle building, you have a defined goal. You're trying to build muscle. You're not just trying to train and go about your life and maintain weight. You have a defined goal. And there are rules when you have a defined goal. And the rules are, if you want to build muscle, adding weight, being in a slight surplus is going to help. A lot. All right, we just had that one. Rico, how's it going, Rico? Love Fridays. If you could have any talent in the world, what would it be? The ability to make infinite amount of income. So I could, like anybody that annoyed me, I could just, I don't know. So I could hide in the corner of the world. You know what? Even if you had infinite money, you'd still have to wake up every day to bullshit, right? Somebody sending you a tax bill, or some city doing this, or someone doing that, or some law changing this, right? It's all the headaches in life, the random stuff that drive me crazy. Any talent in the world, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things I like to do, but there's some talents I have that are mediocre, like singing. I wish I was I wish I had a better range when it comes to singing. I don't know, man. I'd have to think about that. Jonathan, and I think we're good on the sound. And sorry about that. Would you consider 165 pounds at 6'4" and around 16 and a half? Yeah, absolutely. I was 5'10" and 154, and I'm not saying this to be critical at all, but you can't be any skinnier. It's time to grow, right? That's skinny. Even if you're skinny fat, it's time to grow. Ignore that fat. You know, if you're at 16.5% body fat and you put on 20 pounds, you know, you're going to be at like 9%. Everybody has a little bit of fat, but when you don't have enough muscle, it amplifies the fat, right? So ignore it. It's time to grow. You need to do a 15-pound bulk over 6 months. And you need to attack the weights. That'd be my best advice for you. Howie, how's it going, Howie? Good afternoon. About to start my cut and was wondering, and you know what? Because this is a new name, I'm going to let you win. You get a free Massive Iron gym bag, Massive Iron whey, Massive Iron creatine, Massive Iron tea, or Massive Iron hoodie. One of them, not all of them. I just want to specify that. I'm not Donald Trump. But hit me up on Instagram at BenTheBarman, or Gmail me, BenTheBarman@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up. About to start my cut and was wondering how many times I should weigh in. Well, this comes down a lot to personal preference. What do I mean by that? Some folks don't like to step on the scale every day. It's like mentally they can't handle the pressure. There's going to be fluctuation in water weight on a cut. We have to establish that. This can be from stress, sleep, you know, a variability in waste accretion. Is that how you say that? Excretion, removing waste from your body. Variance in sodium, potassium, electrolytes can hold more water. Variance in carbs can hold more water. Excretion, variance in excretion. Not something I say every day, so I stumbled over it a little bit. But there's going to be water weight variance. So some people that step on the scale every day, that water weight fluctuation scares them. I like to have my clients weigh in at least twice a week. That can kind of help paint a bigger picture as far as the variability. So, you know, I weigh in every day. You know, I'm on a cut right now. I hit a new low today, 0.4 over yesterday. I find when my calories are super tight and I'm eating a lot of the same foods, weight loss is more linear. You know, I'll occasionally have a day where I'll have some muscular inflammation from a hard workout and put on a couple pounds. Or I will have a day where I get a lot of water flush and drop a couple pounds. But I like to step on the scale every day. Whatever is best, I'd say, for your mental health. If you don't mind it, if it helps you focus, step on every day. And Howie said, thanks for everything you do. Much appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate your support. Jonathan, love the Massive Joe shirt. Do you have any other merch planned? Let me pull it up for you guys real quick. I want you guys to know that, like, I'm not like an apparel company, right? So I don't want anybody to like think like I'm, you know, living or dying off of you know, like apparel sales. I literally make like $3-4 a piece. When I did the $9.99 Massive Iron t-shirt sale, I lost $10 a t-shirt. I lost $500 that weekend. But look, it was nice to have folks wearing my shirt. Let me just pull up my shirts here. So hold on a second. I'm babbling because in the background, I'm pulling up my apparel. So just wanted to get that for you guys. All right, present, share screen, application, apparel, share. I'm going to remove the comment real quick. And I'm going to pull this up. Let me just shrink the screen a little bit so I can manage it a little bit better. All right, so the new one, let me go to this is on my website, superlivingtoday.com, the apparel tab. this is what I want to show you guys. This is a Massive Joe t-shirt, basically a ripoff of G.I. Joe, just massive. And these are next level shirts, so they, I can show you the cost, but I make like $5 a shirt. It's not like I'm trying to be a t-shirt company. If you go to the apparel, I got a ton of just random stuff that I do. Like this is the Massive Iron Bulldozer shirt. Just fun little silly shirts. And what's this one? Just random massive shirts like this. Sometimes when I'm bored and I need a creative outlet. Here's a Massive Iron gym bag. This is a quality duffel bag. This is quality. This is a little bit bigger than your regular gym bag. And I need to get one myself. I give away a lot of these on the Massive Iron Lives. I'd say a fun little thing. And look, for fun, we have the Massive Iron canvas shoes, like your Chucks. You want deadlifting style? There you go. We got the Pinky Winkies for the women or men that like pink. No judgment. We got all kinds of stuff. What do we got here? If you can read this, no one cares how much you leg press, right? Something like that. And I'll just browse through this real quick. Massive Iron. That's just a random deadlift shirt. You can see we have different colors in these things as well. I'll be real quick, so I'm not trying to turn this into a sales. We got hoodies and shirts. Hoodies, a Massive Iron Barbell Club. That's the Bulldozer. Anybody that knows me knows Bulldozer. We have PRER plus ones. And what else we got? Hold on a sec. The old Massive Iron, like the Arm & Hammer shirt. Get big, get strong, get fit. And we got phone cases. Just silly crap I put together, like the Incredible Bulk. This is a bench press shirt. If somebody's spotting you, it says "Don't touch the bar." Right? I thought that was funny as shit. I don't know. That's the limit of my creativity. But if somebody's spotting you, you can see it's upside down. It says "Don't touch the bar." Just kind of get a kick out of that one. So we got Megaroids for those of you that like to crack on. I run so I can drink beer. And let's see. I'll show you guys a few of the more popular ones, and then we'll move on. And I'm not trying to turn this into a commercial. Literally, I sell like 5 T-shirts a month. So this is a classic Massive Iron shirt that I wear every day to the gym. And we're almost done. We got more Massive Iron gear, different variations. This is like the Terminator font. Strength respects strength. Strength respects strength. We got some Hulk Hogan-like T-shirts. These are the most popular ones, the basic Massive Iron, the Crom, the old Muscle and Brawn shirt. This is a Massive Iron VIP shirt, which is pretty cool. And what else we got? Massive 316, the Massive Iron one that looks like AC/DC. That's pretty fun. Massive Iron, you know what that is, perhaps. My crack on testosterone, right? Whatever. Just stupid. Here, progressive overload. I have regressive underload. Just silly stuff. My Breaking Bad Massive Iron shirt. Got some flags up here. Sell a lot of flags. And yeah, that's about it. That's enough of the commercials. So I'm always looking for new ideas. If you guys have any T-shirt ideas, let me know. I'm always putting together new stuff for fun. Adam, no questions from me this week. Just want to say thank you for preaching the power of plus ones. You're welcome. I appreciate that. Just having that focus every workout on trying to improve a little bit over the previous workout while staying in the lane of hard training. It's the golden road, so to speak. Big Sam, Long term, would you say that double progression is a good long term strategy for progression? I never liked the idea of adding sets. Nah, adding sets is very limited. Like you can do like triple progression, add reps, add weight, and then add a set. You could go from 2 sets to 3 sets to 4 sets to 5, and then you could reset and all that kind of stuff. It can be fun in the right context. But adding reps, adding weight, adding reps, adding weight. What in my world, I call adding reps a +1 and adding weight a step. So we have +1s and we have steps, if that makes sense. Bubba, you waiting for the door to open, Bubba? James, what could be reasons someone hitting your strength standards but not looking down? No one's going to hit my strength standards on everything and not have a lot of mass. You might have an outlier that, like a big old country boy that can bench 315 that doesn't have a lot of mass. But if somebody has a lot of natural strength, the only thing that's going to hide their mass is if they're overweight. But no one's going to reach all my outside of the 1 in a million billion that just comes out of the womb fat and strong, right? Strength standards are reasonable goals. They're not like if you get here, you're automatically going to be jacked in every possible way. So there's obviously going to be outliers occasionally on certain lifts. But look, if somebody is able to dumbbell overhead press 100s, able to bench 315, able to squat 450, able to deadlift 500, able to dumbbell row 150s, either they're 1 in a million, country boy strong, or they have natural mass and they're so they have so much extra fat that they can't really see the mass. As a natural, you might have a lot more mass than you think, naturally. What are you doing, Snoop? Are you taking a dump? I think my dog's taking a dump on camera. Snoopy. Oh, my goodness. We have an emergency. We have a first. Snoopy's got the diarrhea, and he's not doing too well. And he just had a little accident. Basically, if somebody is at all my strength center, hey baby, Snoopy just had an accident.
Oh, what's wrong with your belly?
Yeah, his belly's not good.
Okay.
He's having a rough moment. But if somebody is really hitting those strength standards and they have a lot of fat, I'd be curious what would happen if they'd actually get down to like 190 and lose all that fat. But a lot of this stuff, James, I don't know if you're talking about a specific case, but and many times we're talking about theoreticals, and I've never seen anybody in my life, James, that had all the strength standards that wasn't naturally big. So this is very much a theoretical question. John, Coach, in your opinion, how important is a vertical press? Extremely important. Wait, from the chest back up above the head on bench. Don't overthink this stuff. John, I'm going to tell you guys just in general, bar path doesn't matter. Like there's so many things out in the lifting world that waste your time. The key thing when you're benching and the key thing when you're, overhead pressing, bench pressing is to keep things natural. As you get stronger, we're trying not to beat up your joints, right? We're not going to force a bar path. That's a waste of time. It adds no value. Keep things natural. I don't care what anybody says. If you somehow feel like micromanaging a specific extra bar path or, whatever, you think it's going to give you extra strength or make any difference? Trivial, if anything, a pound, right? It's not really going to help. Staying natural is the way to go. I don't even think it's going to add anything. I think so much of this stuff is horse crap, to be honest with you. It's just time wasting horse crap. And I see a fair share of it coming from strength coaches. We sometimes laugh at the crazy muscle building stuff, but I see strength coaches putting out just stupid stuff, time wasting stuff that has no value for the average. Like all of us right here, except for maybe one super advanced lifter, is in the process, right? And you see so much of this stuff that is put out that has no value for you guys, none at all. It really doesn't have any value for anybody. Focusing on bar path when you are squatting, absolutely. You want to analyze that from the side. If the bar is moving forward, your knees are generally forward, or you got other things moving on your squat. On the bench, when you're pressing up, literally, I'm trying not to swear here, but who gives a crap? It doesn't matter. Everybody is different. Limb lengths and leverages and arm length and grip and all this kind of stuff. Keep it natural. Keep it reasonable. None of this stuff matters. It's just typical toxic lifting, overthinking nonsense. Jonathan, which app are you using to track your workouts? Using Heavy and hoping it'll add strength goals soon. I use Strong Workout Tracker. I'm actually working right now behind the scenes with a developer to create my own. And I'm not going to give too much information. I talk about this a little bit on Team Massive, but we have a sandbox in place. And what I'm looking at doing is making an app for lifters that has analytics and features and just well beyond any of these things. Number one, it's going to be great for tracking in the gym. That's the cornerstone. Because I'm so fed up with lifting apps. They always lack a million features that lifters want. This app that I'm developing, and nothing's for certain, right? We got a long way to go before we even consider it to have it in an app store. But we do have a functional sandbox, a basic understanding of where we're going. And, we want to have, like, you can go into we want to be able to go in like an exercise and choose which progression method you're using, or define your own progression method per exercise, even per workout. We want something that will allow you to, say you insert a JM press, you'll be able to analyze, like, since inserting the JM press, this is where my bench press has been. As a JM press, improve my bench press relative to the cable tricep extension. We'll have a lot of possibility for analytics that will help lifters kind of determine, whether lifts have value, so on and so forth. So anyway, look for information of that slowly. I'm not going to give out too much information and get everybody's hopes up until, we are really on the ball with things, but we're definitely working on it behind the scenes. James, when to choose pin press over other types of shoulder press? And how was the WWE? Pin press you can use pretty much from the start. I like to start the pin press right here. Snoopy, what you doing? My dog's in the hallway doing something random. Pin press you can basically use from the start. When I start a pin press, I like it right about here. Real natural grip for the first rep, press up, and then I don't bring it down to the pins for the second rep. So calling it a strict pin press, this has aggravated some people. Like some people like, hey, it's not a pin press. You didn't start every rep off a pin. Okay. Semantics police, yes. But just, the psycho, the psychos aside, right? That just want to split hairs over everything and miss the big point. I like to start my pin press about here, and just press up and then not lower to the pins, because I don't like to start cold or not tense from the bottom. So you can start that immediately. Any beginner can do that as long as you have a rack you can do it in where you're not going to aggravate someone. How was the WWE? Well, me and my wife had never been to a WWE event before, so we decided to get decent tickets. We spent about $110 a piece for floor tickets, about 10, 12 rows back. And I'll tell you, I thought that was a good idea. Couldn't see much of anything, right? Because of the way the ring is almost, situated on the floor. You'd have been better up, being 5 or 6 rows up on the side. So we couldn't see as much. The screen was right behind us. I thought being close to watching everybody walk in was going to be good, but the screen was behind us. The entrance was behind us. When you turned around, there's like 500 people blocking that as well. Some of the matches got really repetitive. You knew no one was going to lose the title. You knew it was just a house show. And things got a little bit repetitive at times. There was times where they were working the crowd and the chanting went on for like 10 minutes and you're like, oh my goodness. Let's go. Was it entertaining for an hour and a half? Yeah, we left early. Just over a little bit. Would I go back? No. If I went back, would I get floor seats? No. I don't know. I guess some of the matches were fun. Half of them were repetitive. And since you knew nothing crazy was going to go on, you knew like who was going to, like the title matches, you knew who was going to win. Dumbbells and donuts. Happy Friday, another awesome week, and Team Massive Iron. Anyone not part of this community is missing out. Thank you, sir. Please, I didn't mention this because, the audio sucked, but teammassiveiron.com, teammassiveiron.com. We have a private community, and it's not just like a Facebook group with one thing scrolling. We have different sections. It's like micro coaching. You can form checks. You can ask me questions. You can DM me questions. We got a lot going on at Team Massive. We have topics of the day. We have general chat like Discord. We have a lot going on, and the price is low. I do have a gate fee to keep out trolls. This is a troll-free community, but it is one of the best. I don't know of any community online that's better than ours, but I don't obviously know everything yet, right? But teammassiveiron.com, please consider joining. If you need support, if you need it, most of my PDFs and workouts are over there for free. What dumbbell bicep curl variation would you recommend? I like the alternating curl or the seated alternating curl. The seated incline curl is a great variation. You can do those alternating. You can do those both arms at the same time. I actually find the standing variation to be more enjoyable. I don't like to do curls seated. It's just a personal thing. But incline's perfectly fine. I sometimes do pinwheels, but dumbbell curls are my staple. Marnix. Will the upper posterior have enough volume if performed 3 times a week? Well, here's the thing. Upper posterior aside, anything 3 times a week is going to struggle volume-wise. Now, hold on. I'm not telling you guys not to do this, and I'm not telling you can't get gains. So we have to caveat everything on the internet, right? So people don't mistake what I'm saying. Training 3 days a week is going to give you great results if everything else is in place. Progressive overload, hard sets, nailing your nutrition. So don't worry. Like I feel 4 days a week is most optimal. If you can do that, do it. It just provides an opportunity for more manageable volume. But do not panic, please, if you can only train 3 days a week. Do not panic. What's the difference between training 3 days a week and 4 days a week? It's going to be minimal. If you are giving it hard training, maybe 10%. That's my opinion. So don't get crazy about that. Yes, doing an upper posterior every other day or 3 times a week is going to be fine. Do what you can do during that season of your life and kill it. Okay. Yvonne, good morning. John Paul, does pause bench have more hype? No. No, it does not. The main benefit, and I actually have this on my to-do list as a video, the main benefit of a pause bench, and I said main, not only, not exclusive benefit, if somebody is bouncing their bench or can't control the bench down, which if you're bouncing your bench, you're getting loose. It's not the best scenario for your joints. It's not the best scenario for working your chest. If you're not in control of the weight, there's a lot of negative things that can happen. They're not always major negative things, but we still want to control the weight. That's a major part of hypertrophy. Winning the hypertrophy. So guys that are really loose, pause bench can teach you to control it down because you can't just do the trampoline thing, right? So the main benefit of not only, not exclusive, for the average lifter, we're not talking about for the competitive power lifter, where there might be other benefits to doing a pause bench. But the main benefit for the average lifter is learning control. It's not going to have any greater hypertrophy benefits. It's a minor trivial thing. In the big picture, consistency, good exercise selection, progressive overload, hard training, nailing your nutrition, those are the big things. These little things are what we call, you have the forest, which is the big picture. Consistency in nutrition, hard training, the forest. And then you have the trees, right? Like training frequency. Some people stand in front of a tree and all they see is a tree and they don't see the forest. Can't do body part splits, right? They ignore everything else going on around them. Like they make that tree the forest. And this is like the leaf on a tree in a forest. Matters not at all. Just another leaf. What do you think of Mike Israel's recommended volume needs? I don't know what any of this. I'm not being disrespectful, but I don't know what any of this horse shit means. I really don't. I'm not being disrespectful. I don't know. I don't have time to study a system. So again, not being disrespectful, not blowing off the question, but I have my own system, my own philosophies. I really don't know what any of this. I know like MRV is like maximal something volume or whatever. You guys have to be real careful about overthinking this stuff. Study the massive iron system. It's going to equip you to maximize your training, whatever other tools you bring in. Maximal recoverable volume. Is that what it is? If you're a noob, right? Everybody's at a different place, right? So I don't like to think in theoreticals. I like to think in what's going on in the gym. Like if you're a noob, you might have a low maximum recoverable volume, but you need to work on that. That's called conditioning. That's called building work capacity. That's all I can tell you. Everything else is just trivial acronyms to me. Sandra, how's it going, Sandra? DM Cook. I'm 4 weeks post rotator cuff surgery and working on regaining range of motion. Have you ever had to work back? No. Well, I've had to work back from a shoulder injury, but not from a shoulder surgery. I had, this is going to sound silly, but I had a left shoulder tear once. I was picking up an empty oil drum at work. Something that, I don't know, what I weighed, 15 pounds, whatever they weigh empty. And rip, shoulder tear. Just picking up normal, not doing anything crazy. But I had to start back at a 45-pound bench, and next week a 50-pound bench, and next week a 55-pound bench. I had to literally go slow like that, 3 by 8, 3 by 10, until I literally went 5 pounds a week. So I'm not saying specifically that's what you have to do, but that type of recovery is probably a good idea. You want to feel things out and ease into things and transition slowly. There's no value in rushing. You always want to start slow, and then you can accelerate if you gain confidence and the body is willing. But just as a general rule, you want to go slow and accelerate. I'm a dad. What's your superpower? What are the most important keys, in your opinion, for developing a lifestyle of lifting? Consistency is important. How do we make that a reality and make it a habit? Well, some people struggle when they reach seasons in their life where they can't be optimal, right? I can't be optimal, quit. If I could give one piece of advice for you guys, it would be to never quit, even if you can only lift once a week for a season. Even if you can only lift 30 minutes a day, twice a week. That's my best advice. You can't control the punches life gives you, but you can choose to continue to move forward, even if it's a handicapped step. And I hesitate to use that word because I don't want, to associate it with someone that has a true handicap, right? But a handicap step, a limited step. So you have to be grounded in reality. The people that get like, I can't be perfect, so I'm not going to do anything, right? Excuse my, comedic voicery, right? My strategic voicery. There are people like that. That I can't be optimal, so I'm just quitting. Right? I'm not making fun of them, but it happens. You have to not be that guy. If you want to be successful in anything in life, painting, writing music, relationships, you gotta live in that season and do what you can in that season. I mean, you really, really do. And you have to understand this is a long game. Think of like the career of an athlete, like a baseball player. They're going to have times where they get minor injury. They're out there 162 days a year. Things are going to break down, right? But it's the guys that can sustain over 20 years that, and look, this is not just about muscle. This is about physical freedom, taking care of our body, looking good, feeling good, mental health, mental strength. All these things. This isn't just about sustaining lifting so I can just look good. Everybody wants to look good. It's good for mental health. It is. No matter all the bullshit you hear on social media, acceptance of this, acceptance of that, is obesity healthy, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about any of that stuff. For most of us, I think a lot of it's a lie, to be honest with you. because I know most people I talk to are not okay. When we aren't taking care of ourselves, we kind of know it, right? Not kind of, unless we're kind of delusional, right? But when we lie to ourselves or we aren't putting our best effort forward, we don't always feel the best mentally. I hesitate to say it doesn't automatically create melancholy or depression. It can create frustration. You can create, not being satisfied. But we got to get up and do the best we can with what we are given that day. That is living. I talked about this last week. How do you maximize life? How do you live? There's always going to be variables, things in your path and change. That's life. Thankfully, if you wake up, there's not a major variable like cancer or an unexpected accident. Life is truly a gift, and that's very cliche to say, right? But we should be happy that we get up and have the opportunity to fight. There are people that don't have the same opportunities we have. So all these little dips in the road, we have to have a better attitude. And that doesn't mean you can be fake. You have to be fake positive, right? And pretend everything is unicorn farts, right? And rainbows. We don't have to be fake positive. We don't have to pretend like, I love everything just because I'm alive, right? There's shit that goes on in my day I don't like, but we also have to be very pragmatic and practical and frame things like, okay, I got over it. Now, how can I make this the best week possible? And it's not just about making things the best week possible. That's really the heart of living, when you make every day the best day. And when you take care of yourself, you are facilitating your best self. You are creating physical freedom and, to a degree, mental freedom. We no longer have to have the burden of worrying about being obese and taking care of ourselves. We feel shame, right? We're not doing the best we can. And you have to get up every day and live to the fullest, to maximize what you have, to take things as a challenge, not as a handcuff, right? Not as something that is tethering you down, but it's an opportunity to see what you can do, to see what can be done in the long run. What's the difference in programming between a pull-up and a chin-up? Not really much of a difference. For those of you guys keeping score at home, a pull-up, palms away, chin-up, palms toward. You also have the neutral grip pull-up, which isn't really called a neutral grip chin-up. Basically, you program the same way. A pull-up you program as a back exercise. Chin-up is more bicep-centric, but it's still going to have a lot of back. So not every lift comes down to either its back or biceps, right? There's a spectrum. But pull-ups are I would put very heavy in the back spectrum. Chin-ups more heavily in the bicep spectrum. I don't consider the chin-up variation to be something I like to program in for back. If someone wants to do chin-ups, I tend to program them in after I have the regular back work. Progressive overload on body weight stuff can be challenging and frustrating. Pull-ups, push-ups, dips. Not for everybody. Some of you guys really do well with them, but they can be challenging for a lot of people. So more than anything with pull-ups or even chin-ups or dips, be patient. I want you guys to think in the long run, and this might seem like a depressing concept for some of you, but if you only add 1 rep to pull-ups a month, At the end of 5 years, you're going to be a monster at pull-ups. Anything worth having, we have to look at the 5-year plan, at least. You want to be a monster at squats in 5 years, or you want to be a monster at squats, let's look at a 5-year plan, not a 5-week plan, not a 5-month plan. People that are monsters at squats or monsters at pull-ups don't believe it's going to occur in 5 weeks, right? So adding a rep on pull-ups once a month, after 5 years, you're going to be a freak using a lot of weight, doing body weight pull-ups easily. Can they be done as an AB variation? Again, I don't treat them the same. I don't really treat chin-ups. I mean, you could program in 12 sets per week for back and then alternate pull-ups and chin-ups as kind of a bonus lift. There are many ways to do things. Does that make sense? Why do we see more pull-up videos than chin-ups? Well, one could, some of it's just lifting convention. The average lifter is better at neutral grip pull-ups than pull-ups. So one could also say, why don't we see more videos on neutral grip pull-ups? I don't know, convention. Why do we see more people doing barbell rows than pendlay rows? It's just a changing tide, right? I mean, we need to kind of be open to new things and not always be tethered to lifting convention. So chin-ups, chin-ups are more bicep centric. That's the main thing. If you had a client who was pretty close to stage lean and they went immediately into maintenance, how much would you expect them to gain? Not much. But it's hard to sustain. That's athlete X territory. I mean, you really need an incredible degree of, I hate to say neuroses, right? But it's going to be a really, for most of us, that would be a really unenjoyable life. But you're not going to see that much of it. But you're going to need to keep everything really, really tight. I mean, really tight. Because the closer you get to stage lean, the more miserable you feel. And to sustain that weight, the body's going to, that's kind of on the extreme end, the body's going to really want to naturally go back to a more normalized weight, I would think. I don't know, theoretical stuff. Why would you want to stay at that level? I don't know if that's your goal. You want to be like Athlete X every day, that's fine. That's your goal. But you're going to have to stay super tight. Staying at that level, you don't have really any opportunity to build muscle. You're just staying at some super lean level. So everybody's going to look different at a different body fat percentage. Some guys look much better at 12 than other guys. We're talking slight differences, but where you want to sustain at after you build mass is up to you. But you're not going to see much of a weight difference if you go back to maintenance. Just a little bit of water weight and glycogen in the muscles, that sort of thing. Been doing weighted dips for a little while, but progression is slow. This is something I just talked about. Currently doing week 1, week 2. Dips are every other week. No, they don't need to be every week. Dips and pull-ups tend to be slow progressors for a lot of people. Simply because not simply because, but I mean, if you think about it, if you added a rep every week, after a year, you'd be a monster. They're just typically, for most people, a slow progressor. Why? Just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Like every lift has a different kind of progression curve. So like lat pull-ons, you can spend 6 months, and all of a sudden, boom, you kind of cap out really quickly. It has a weird progression curve. Every lift is a little bit different. Does that make sense? We are about an hour in, guys. Hour in. Keep the questions coming. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. I'm just waiting for the storm to end. And then we're going to end. Wife. All right. Sorry about the noise. We're about an hour in, guys. Keep the questions coming. I appreciate you guys supporting me. Keep the questions coming. We'll stay on as long as you have questions before we move any more forward. Make sure you head over to Instagram, @the Slide into my DM if you have any questions, or follow me. I do questions, Q&As on there like 3-4 times a week. Stein, how's it going, Stein? Welcome to the party. Timothy, welcome to the party. Been tracking my thigh measurement at my upper thigh near the groin area. It doesn't really matter. Some people obsess about this, but it's just more important to measure at the same area. I usually measure a couple inches below the old testosterone, the testicles, somewhere in that area, right? So I like to measure at a really thick area that's repeatable, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it too much, as long as it's not too low. You're going to go low on the thigh. You're going to run into probably a little bit smaller of a reading. Taking your own involvement in the professional side, do you feel like overall the advent of social media and YouTube has helped or hindered newcomers? We like to do knee-jerk reactions about content, social media content. There's a lot of bad content, but look, back in my day in 1986, 1988, we had limited resources. We had to be more resourceful ourselves. Does this mean a lot of people did stupid crap? Sure. People do stupid crap, whether they have resources or they don't have resources, right? That's now the stupid crap just gets to be put out on social media, as content. There's a lot of idiots out there. I'm not going to lie. It's just the way it goes. I mean, I would like to sugarcoat. I'm not trying to sound like Mr. Know-it-all. But look, there are idiots in every profession. And there are a lot of people that just want attention. They look good, so all of a sudden they are a fit expert. And I applaud them for looking good, and I applaud them for taking care of their body. But owning a stethoscope doesn't make you a doctor. Being able to put it in your ear and play, right? And that's what a lot of these people are doing, playing fitness expert. Okay, you run and you lift weights. That's very good. But are you dedicating your life to advancement of education? Do you study convention in your industry? These are important. If you want to advise people, you better know what the fuck you are doing, right? And you better be working on it. Do I know everything about everything? No. Have I spent every second of my adult life studying this? Yes. It doesn't make me the best expert, doesn't make me better than anyone, but this is my life's work, not showing my ass on social media, right? Playing around and doing a booty pose on social media, tongue in cheek, it's just humor, but like I give up every day and I answer questions. I've talked to everybody. I've studied their stuff. I've done articles on their stuff. like Lane Norton's fat workout. I think I wrote an article about it 12 years ago, right? I've written articles and analyzed nearly every workout. So whenever I'm putting together things, workouts or programs or stuff for my clients, they have the confidence that I have literally written articles and studied and talked to these people. I haven't talked to Doug Hepburn, but I've written at least 3 articles on his programming stuff. Hold on one second. Messaging my wife. You know, I've trained with a lot of these guys. I've studied. I have books and resources, and I've written 1,000 articles. Literally made over 3,000 videos. When you put out this majority of content, you know, you're going to grow and evolve and move things off the board and move things on the board that are better choices. But to your question, you know, back in my day, there was limited resources. You have the weeders who didn't, you know, just one voice. So having more voice, the problem isn't social media content. The problem is people can't resist the fluff content, right? And look, you have to really know who you're going to trust, and you have to stick in that lane. You have to have reference points. There are guys out there that put out content that I try to be as neutral as possible, even if with my own beliefs. And my filtering is this essential? Like, if you look at the history of lifting, and I've been doing this a long time, and I've been studying this my whole life. And when somebody says, this is necessary, that is necessary. When I hear a new concept, it's not that it can't have value. Or new exercise, it's not that it can't have value. But the problem is, like, people will attach to these things like they're must-haves. The first question we have to ask, is this a necessity? Like Dr. Mike's MRV, MAV, whatever all that stuff is. Could it have value? Yeah, when I apply properly. I don't even know what the hell it is. Is it required? No, right? Use it if you find it valuable, but always understand the bigger picture. So who you plug into on social media is very important. Who are your go-to guys for grounding, right? I'm a grounding guy in my own personal life. In my own personal studies. And look, we don't live in the brightest era of history, right? We kind of, in some ways, it's like living in idiocracy. We can get mad at the content producers for producing this content, but there's a need for it from people that don't have time to research, aren't as immersed as we are, or simply gravitate towards that type of content. Some people want content that shows them the easy way to lift. Oh, a 4-minute chest workout, right? There's a symbiotic relationship. And not everybody that's involved in this symbiote situation is a bad person. Somewhere out there, there's a lawyer or a cancer surgeon who has no free time and trusts an expert. And the expert can give them 80% of the way there, but 20% of the stuff they do is chaotic and unnecessary. So we have to kind of analyze things in a richer richer way. I'm babbling a little bit, I know. But there are a lot of people out there. Are they getting someone 80% of the way? Are they helping them move? Are they being constructive in some way? Or are they a complete cluster? Right? I don't know. I think newcomers will always be confused, but it's up to the individual to learn how to filter. Timothy, I know we don't intentionally chase the pump, but what do you think it has any value in reflecting? Every muscle group is different. So it's really muscle group by muscle group. My triceps always get pumped. My chest has a noticeable pump. My shoulders never get pumped. My back never gets pumped. My biceps never get pumped. My quads never get pumped. My quads get strained. It can have value as a metering system. Like if your triceps always get pumped and they don't get pumped, then you could ask yourself if a specific workout wasn't up to speed. But focus on hard training and all good things come. People that are trying to chase a back pump, I get a back pump without having a reasonably productive workout that's going to encourage hypertrophy. Oh, we talked about this. Sorry. Good morning. Just checking in. Carlton, a client of mine. Good morning. When is it advantageous to use power movements? Where you use body momentum? Well, power shrugs are a good example, but that's more power generation. The standard shrug has no power generation. Imagine if you tried to deadlift off the floor like this. Right? So we have to frame things properly. Here's me deadlifting like I power shrug. He deadlift 135 pounds, right? So there's a difference between English and momentum and power generation. And that's where things fall apart. If people bench press like they dumbbell row, it'd be like, right? My muscle. Excuse my silliness. But you know it to be true, right? We have irrational, unreasonable standards when it comes to certain lifts. There's been convention introduced. It's not like this sort of stuff can't work as a finisher for shrugs. It can, in the same way that a controlled, slower bench could maybe be a finisher for bench. But always understand the difference between power and English. There aren't many lifts, that like high pulls. A high pull, like an upright row, is more strict. A high pull is more momentum, but you can use more weight. So can that be a good exercise for shoulders when applied properly, maybe as a fourth lift in a movement, or fourth lift for shoulders? Do you need to exclusively do power shrugs? No. Can the traps take a lot of stress? Yes. Is the average person challenging their traps enough? No, in my opinion. When trying to breathe in and brace during squats, our powerlifters say we should breathe in the stomach and puff out belly. No, I don't puff out the belly. I brace the belly like somebody's going to punch me. I don't push my belly out, right? I take a big breath. I don't like I'm not trying to suck in as much air as possible and like a balloon, fill it as, that's not the goal. I breathe and brace. I brace like I'm going to be punched, like I tighten the core. Does that make sense? Don't overthink this stuff, guys. Just be reasonable. If you have a large imbalance on an isolation movement, is there any benefit to pre-fatiguing? I don't know what you mean. You'd have to give me a specific example. Because we need to look at a specific example here. When you need pretty much just carbs to round out your macros, what's your go-to food? Well, if you just need carbs, and he said, I'm falling short on carb target. I don't like cereal. I just watch the processed crap in cereal. We have to analyze we have to analyze 80-20. Okay, let's start there. 80-20, like if somebody's needing a lot of calories, 80-20 is kind of a general rule in life. 80% good food, 20% bad food. Allows a little bit of play food, right? The 80-20 allows us to have a little bit of fun in life without being so anal retentive that we walk around never allowing ourselves to enjoy anything. Beer, cake, nachos. Whether you choose to go with 80-20 or 90-10 or 100-0 is your choice, right? Your life, one life, you do you. As long as you're not 50-50, then you're going to turn into, you're going to have issues. But what's the best way to add carbs? Well, the best way to add calorie, I don't look at carbs, man. Why do you have a carb target when you're bulking? I'm just being honest. I'm not being hard. But what's the point? You have a protein target and a calorie target, and carbs and fats go where they will. As long as you're eating reasonably, and I know you are, there's no point in worrying about fats and carbs. A carb total on a bulk is like scoring yourself and tracking it on sex every day. How did I do with my partner? Today's a 7, right? It's like, my question is why? It's not needed. If you like to do it, great. But calories and protein are all that matters. So if I was low on calories, because that's what you are, you're low on calories, then eat pizza, eat ice cream, eat something. Drink a beer. If you're low on carbs, generally you're going to have to eat a food with carbs and fats. And you can either eat simple sugars, cake, pie, more fruit. Veggies aren't generally going to do it. You have legumes, black beans and peas and corn, grains like that have higher calorie content. But really, that's your option if you just want to hit a carb total. But really, what you are is short on calories. So I don't do that personally, and I don't advocate it. I'm not telling you can't do it. That's your choice, and I'm not judging you, and I'm not pounding on you. But just know you have to worry about calories and you have to worry about protein. And anything else, micromanaging carbs and fats is not necessary, as long as your fats aren't going below 20%. If you want to spend your days counting every gram of carbs during a bulk, go for it. But you're going to have to, decide whether you want to add in some pizza, right? Some breadsticks. What's going on, buddy? Or if you want to just do rice and taters, right? Hi, buddy. You come visit Dad? Good boy. So, James, in your storm rant, you basically said, when the storm hits, you fight back. That's how you are. That's how you are alive. Can we put that on a shirt? Yeah, I thought about it, James, but I want to, if anybody has like a design or a concept they'd like, or a mental image, for how the shirt to look, let me know. You can send it my way, benthebarman@gmail.com. Big Bob. Got to function tonight. Going to be lots of alcohol. Enjoy. Hopefully, I'll be recovered. You better be recovered, Bob. If you get so slobber knockered that you're still hurting on Sunday, I don't know, Bob. Don't. That's dangerous. I mean, I can Snoop. You still got diarrhea. I really don't want you in here. Get out of here, Snoopy. Get out. Out, please. Out. Everybody out. Snoop says diarrhea. Out, please. Bob, just be smart. As long as you don't drink like a fish, Bob, just be smart.
Someone's at the door.
Noisy day, sorry. What's your favorite rear delt exercise? Rear delt swings is a good exercise. Underrated. Bent over flies, reverse pec deck. I really like the behind the back shrug, where you shrug over your glutes. You have to actually lift it up over your glutes. When you raise like this, it destroys my rear delts. Just destroys my rear delts. You might not find it to be the same thing, but what's up?
Somebody's at the door. Come on. What is the time anyway?
12:23. Hey, boss. Happy Friday. Love the Insta selfie of your gym. Look at Jack. Thanks. I get comments like, why don't you post more pictures from the gym? Like, man, I've just been busy doing client work. And when I go, like for a long time, man, I was just me. I didn't do coaching. I just did kind of YouTube as a side thing. And now it's coaching's full time. And when I get in the gym, that's kind of my break time, like I want to just lift, and I've not been really thinking about videoing lifts and stuff. I'm just enjoying my time again alone in the gym. So I decided to throw a picture up. I'm still working on my cut. I'm not going to do a full reveal till I'm done, but I'm looking at being done. I'm just going slow and steady. When my home gym opens up this November, I'm going to start doing filming. So we'll do a lot more of that fun stuff then. Thoughts on how to add cardio to a 4-day lifting routine? I'm limited on time. The big thing, Luke, is consider cardio to be general movement, right? You want to add some general movement to your week. And I think a goal, you have kids. I understand you're busy. So I don't know what you can get in. But a good general goal is, like an hour a week. And even if it's 5 minutes, 3 minutes, don't beat yourself up if you can't, rip off a big chunk of it. Think of things in the bigger picture. After lifting, don't do it before lifting. Lifting's always a priority. Lifting's the A1 priority for health and fitness. And then all the forms of movement come after. If you are trying to cut, is it better to just cut from 3,000 to 2,000 overnight? Yes. It's better to go to something lower that's sustainable. The biggest thing, one of the biggest issues I see on cuts is people mess around. Like they're afraid of losing muscle, so they try to go super slow, and let's drag out a month cut into like a 4-month cut, right? You're not going to lose muscle on a cut. If you do, it's minimal, trivial, micro. And even if you do, muscle memory is a real thing. You're going to get it back immediately. So get in, get it done, get out. If you have a shoulder injury, should you swap to cutting? I don't consider having one injured body part a reason to cut, but it could be a good time to cut, depending on the nature of the injury. If say you have a shoulder injury and it's going to take you a month, and you have a little fat to get off and you want to run, hot after the fat is, or after the shoulder's healed, then go for it. It's really up to you. Really, it has to do with timing and motivation. Eric, if you did a bodyweight version of your massive six, what would be your go-to exercises? I'd have to look at it, to be honest with you. I would have to look at it. But I can tell you body weight stuff isn't equal for every body part. Like, obviously, I could say pull-ups for back, but some of us can't do pull-ups, right? Very well, or some of us are overweight. Push-ups, dips. You have lunges, you have Bulgarian split squats, you have reverse lunges, you have pause jump squats for legs. Shoulders, you could do pike press, handstand, presses. That's really about it as the main lifts that come to mind. What are the main benefits that you see when training at home? Man, there's pros and cons, obviously. Cons are changing weight all the time, moving crap around, right? Limited exercise variations. But the pros are you don't have swinging dicks everywhere, doing stupid crap all the time, dealing with that horse shit. So it's nice to find a gym that's not super crowded. My allergies are bothering me, so I apologize. Got a sinus headache. Not a big one, but just from allergies. But you can control the music, you can control the environment, and that's very valuable. I like that. The negatives are limited equipment. I think you should always look at expanding your equipment in a home gym. Consider it like an investment. But, it's not a bad idea for the home gymmer to have a commercial gym membership so you have an option if you want to get out of the house and do some different things. But for me, music and not having to deal with the stupid people, my wife had to deal with one this week. Some lady's on the leg press reading a book. She was on there for 45 minutes. My wife did 5 exercises waiting to get on the leg press. And, one thing about life is there's always going to be someone like that, right? That's life. Not all of us can play well with other people, right? But the people that don't, you're going there to have fun, lift weights, do all the things, and then you have some, What's the name of the intro song? It's called Flack. It's a song I wrote. It's not on Apple Music or Spotify, but I can get it up there. I have the full version. It's Flack. It's a song I wrote like in 1993. Maybe 95. I can't remember. And I appreciate you guys letting me know. For those of you guys that watched early, I'm very, very, very sorry about that. You talk about switching some exercises every other week, hex bar conventional. Do you do this with not with most? I don't know. It really comes down to what exercises do I want to do? So on back, for example, there's a lot of good exercises. You can do hex bar, you can do conventional, you can do hex bar, you can do block pull. Who was at the? I was going to ask her who was at the door.
Okay.
Who was at the door?
My appointment for 1:30 was just in the neighborhood and thought she'd pop in early.
Yeah. Did you tell her to fuck off?
Well, that's why you book appointments. And then the garbage bin leaked all over the floor while I was attending to that.
I'm just up here trying to talk about
And that dog's locked outside in the rain.
Can I?
I'm going to give up.
You know what? We can't see your legs.
My legs.
Where do your legs go?
My legs are here.
You can't see them.
That's because of your body.
No, you have camouflage on.
Oh.
You don't get my bad joke?
No, that really sucked.
I like those. Can I want,
Snoopy Doosby.
I want leggings
I
like
don't
that.
think you'll fit into these.
I don't want yours.
Do you want to
mine.
wear my matching pink top?
You want to take those off right now to see if I can fit in them?
You won't even fit your leg into my tights.
Do you think with like my humongous bulge that I would be able to fit in those?
I don't think anything would fit into that.
All right. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, all the dogs out of here. Close the
I
door
am
if you don't
not.
mind. I don't need any more buddy shitting in there anymore. So let's get back to this. Sorry. What exercises do you want to do, right? I want to do dumbbell row and barbell row. I have to alternate every other week to fit them in. Seated cable row, lat pull down, machine row, whatever you want to do. I really look at it and in that moment, what do I want to do? You know, and some of them I have to rotate it because you can't do everything, right? Let's say you want to bench and floor press, or you want to bench and pause bench, or you want to bench and incline bench, or you want to incline bench and pause bench, right? Or you want a dumbbell one week and incline dumbbell the next, or whatever. It's just a good way to work in variation. And variation is rarely a bad thing. It's not a must do. But variation can be really good mentally. And, you know, it allows us to work in all the lifts we want. I'm a big fan of variation. Horned Frog. Have you seen Netflix documentary? Not yet. Not yet. And I hesitate to, you know, even mention it on social media. Look, I don't like to get political. I know Arnold said some things about freedom, and I get it. You know, I wasn't a big fan of the comment, but I don't want to fight over it. This is a lifting channel. I don't like to get into politics. I'm not a political guy. You know, my political views are basically leave me alone, and I don't trust most any politicians. It's really as simple as that. I don't trust my government. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But life is too short, and I don't believe the world's going to end. I hesitate to mention Arnold on social media because every time you do, you know, you get and I understand he deserves it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. You say what you say. You got to take it like a big boy. But no, I haven't seen it yet. I'll be curious to see it. And let's see. Whoops. Trying to move on. Rob, is it true you need minimum per meal? No. No. It's daily. That's important. Rob, anybody that thinks you need to micromanage protein and that the body is so fragile is leading you down a path of bullshit. When whatever we digest in the stomach goes into the intestines as something called chyme, and I'm no biology expert, but I know enough not to be an idiot-ish, right? But I wrote an article about this at Tiger Fitness, and you can search chyme, CHYME, and about muscle protein synthesis. The body is very efficient at using resources. It has to be. We're designed to be efficient at using everything we put in our body. If we were inefficient as a species, we would be not a species. We'd be dead, right? We wouldn't be at the top of the food chain. So it is a safe argument that we have a reasonable degree of efficiency as a species. This chyme goes into our intestines, and our body can actually slow down or speed up digestion based on what it needs, right? So it's not like what we eat at 3 o'clock goes into one compartment and what we eat at 6 o'clock goes into a different compartment. It all goes into the intestines. It's processed, and whatever we need, it's taken out. the whole concept of, has there been some information that shows that maybe eating protein 4 times a day might be provide a little bit of benefit? Yes. Because of the rate of digestion. But if you only ate once a day, or you do OMAD 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day or whatever, you're going to be fine, because the body's not that fragile. If you train hard over the course of 10 years, whether you do OMAD or eat 4 times a day, you're probably going to end up you're going to end up at the same place, I guarantee it. Maybe give or take an ounce of muscle. All the overthinkers, Rob. All the overthinkers. All they do is wasting our time. Some of them mean well. But the cornerstone is consistency and hard training. You put those two in the gun, that's all the only bullets you're really gonna need. Let's see. We're getting past the audio comments. Did you get stronger with fast or slow reps? Do you get stronger with you get strong with normal reps, right? You get strong. Strength isn't a rep speed. Strength is relentlessness and attack and mental fortitude and big juicy cojones and trying to progress and reasonable. I'm just reading a question in the future. Reasonable nutrition. Richard, did you enjoy the WWE event? Like I said, for about an hour. It's just something I'd never go back to. It was a little bit repetitive. Some of it was good. Some of the filler matches just felt repetitive. Last week, you mentioned staying in a situation too long and it affected your mental health. That was my last marriage of 17 years. Do you have any advice for ones in similar situations? Now, I'm not going to advise people break up or leave relationships or anything like that, but you have to take care of yourself. You do. And if you are happy and the person you are with is not going to work on your situation, work on your relationship, then you need to probably leave. Life's not always that simple. I'm not telling people just to leave marriages. It's not that simple. We have responsibilities. We need to own up to our responsibilities sometimes, even if the relationships aren't perfect. And it's a very complex situation, and I'm not a freaking marriage counselor. So I'm not pretending to give you guys advice. But I will tell you this. If you're in a relationship and the person isn't on the same path, and they refuse to work on the relationship, then you have 2 choices. Number 1, you accept it and you go about your life and don't complain. Or you do something about it. But look, if your wife doesn't like to lift weights and you do, is that a deal breaker? No. If you have relationship issues and your partner doesn't work on it, that's unhealthy. So at that point, it can start to affect your mental health. And at that point, you have some hard decisions to make. And they are yours to make. People get divorced. It's not the end of the world. But, you got some hard decisions to make. Brips, have you ever run a Spartan? Not specifically a Spartan. We've done several mud runs early on. The first one we did, it was raining so bad. We got to certain areas of the swamp area, and the water was literally up to here, which was pretty terrifying. We had to do like a quarter of a mile in water up to that level. We did a mud run, obstacle run in Indiana right during a rainstorm, and the mud was like that thick. It was literally like slop, slop. It took forever. Let me get a drink. If weight loss stops during a cut, does that mean new maintenance calories? Not necessarily. It could mean you ate too much on Saturday and you're in denial, right? Could mean you're not looking at your average. You're only looking at the 5 or 6 days you were at a certain level. It could mean your activity level slowed. So we have to look at everything. If your activity slows, if you're having higher days. At the end of the day, we have to be pragmatic. It doesn't matter. Because if you are nailing steps, activity, and you are nailing your calories and you stop losing weight, and I've never seen this, okay? So I've not seen it. I've not seen people at a calorie intake, consistent calorie intake, stop losing weight. I've not seen it. I'm not saying it's outside of the realm of possibility, but as a professional coach that deals with weight, I see hundreds and hundreds of weigh-ins a month. And I have for a long time. And I've never seen someone on a super strict, consistent calorie intake not lose weight. So usually they're eating more than they think. They're not logging their bits and bytes or their activity changes. I've had some clients that were cutting for shows where things slow a little bit and then we have to speed them up, but I've never seen it stall. Do you need steroids to compete? Yes. You need more than steroids, my friend. You probably need gobs and gobs of human growth hormone to help repair and recover. Yes. Is it a common thing to have issues with my ulnar nerve after barbell squats? I've had this issue for 2 weeks. Well, there's some questions I would have for you. You're getting a pain, and I don't know that it's your ulnar nerve because those of you guys that are, the ulnar nerve runs through the elbow, and it runs to the. I'm trying to remember the length. That's what I'm doing here. The ulnar nerve is one of 3 main nerves in your arm. I knew it was in your arm, and I didn't know where it started or ended. It starts from the neck to the hand. That's a lot of pain. So I would have questions. Are you experiencing it in your elbow only or the entire nerve? If it's in the elbow only, it could just be from a narrow grip or too narrow of a grip, or it could be from elbow tendonitis. So I'd have to know more. Fat Chicken and Barn, good morning. Welcome to the party. And Harut, good morning. Welcome to the party. Big Ted. You and your girlfriend, that's my wife. But you didn't know. East Lot's over 100 pounds. How long did it take? And did you deal with it? I still have extra skin. You can't get rid of extra skin unless you have surgery. So it took me a good year to get my weight down from 346 to 246. And then I was kind of around a little bit. For the next year, I was still kind of hanging in that range. My wife probably took about the same time. She had loose skin removal from her belly. But I have not dealt with mine yet. Hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, struggled with oily skin and acne most of my life. Anyone tell you you got that baby face? Any tips on having clear skin? I have weird skin, man. Like I'm going on 56 years old, and like I don't really get wrinkles. I know you can't see, but I have minor wrinkles. I have battle wounds, right? But I don't know. I don't know why I've been blessed with looking younger than I am in the skin and wrinkles category. I don't do anything crazy like, drink a magical amount of water or have magical foods. I don't know, man. Some of it's just genetics. I'm definitely no expert. Larzo, what's going on? One of my friends is like 10 to 12% body fat and eating 3,100 calories, and he thinks he is skinny fat. He might be. Yeah, I mean, body dysmorphia is real, but, there are folks that are ripped that don't think they're ripped. I've had people come to me that are leaner than any of us could ever hope to be. Like, I feel fat. I'm like, I get it. You feel fat. I'm not putting you down for feeling fat, but you are not fat compared to the norm, right? So not much you can do with a person like that. Just put them out to pasture and hope they don't run off and do something silly and hurt themselves or develop a food addiction or food issue. Parsa, good morning. I want to say you've been making great progress on the bench program. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. And keep pushing on and keep me updated. Albert, we could call you fat, Albert. Just ate a pack of Oreos. Every weekend I seem to mess up. Albert, were the Oreos in the house? Tell us, Albert. Albert, were the Oreos in the house, Albert? But I have kids. Kids need Oreos in the house, Albert. I don't know your situation. But Albert, you keep that up, you're going to be fat, Albert. Stop eating the damn Oreos. You're not messing up. You're choosing to be a pig. I'm telling you because I care. I ate nachos. I got up to 346 pounds. You got to change that mindset. You are messing up. You're choosing weakness. It's hard, but you got to fight back. Sugar addiction, fast food addiction, trash food addiction is hard, but you need to come guns blazing. You need to take it seriously. Fat Chick in a Barn. I love my Crom shirt. Thank you. Glad to hear it. What is the red Sanja? Can I make a red Sanja? I don't know. Crom isn't like a. I don't want to like get into a legal thing. I don't making shirts to like red Sanja or whatever. Paul, good morning. Team Massive 5K run done. Good job. The shirts aren't 100% cotton, are they? Let me check to see what the next level of shirts are. 1 second, folks. 1 second. It'll only take me 1 second, I swear. If I can get it to load. Shirts and hoodies. 100% ring spun cotton. 100% ring spun cotton. The next level shirts. I might have to get me some Massive Iron shoes. Yeah, I'm going to get me some too, but you imagine like having your own brand called Massive Iron. Like I didn't start out that Massive Iron. It's just kind of how it happened. I'm like, I'm going to create a brand today. Right. It was just my first book called Massive Iron. I just kind of ran with it. But imagine going to the gym with my Massive Iron shirt and my Massive Iron gym bag and my Massive Iron shoes and my Massive Iron thong. Not really, right? Looking like a Massive Iron dork. No, but it's cool, man. It's fun. It's fun to have your own, it's fun to have a Massive Iron gym bag. I work my ass off, and it's like I appreciate everybody who supports me. I do. I do. And anything that motivates you guys, I'm here, man. I'm all about the motivation. I'm all about using whatever we can as a community to motivate. And like the whole thing to me, Massive Iron is like, it sums up my mindset, when I'm training. It doesn't have to be your goals, but Jacoby, hey, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Alonzo, can I build the same amount of muscle that someone bulk cut for 5 years if I? You can't really stay around 20%. Well, you can. Here's the thing. You got some really complicated math. So let's say you start at 200 pounds and you're 20%. You have 160 pounds of mass, 20% body fat. You can stay at 20% body fat if you gain 8 pounds of muscle and only 2 pounds of fat, right? So could you do a controlled bulk over 3 years, gaining like 24 pounds and hoping it was only 20% fat? You could, but no one can really be that precise. So yes, you can bulk and stay in the ballpark of your body fat percentage, but is it ever going to be super precise? No. So it's basically just a prolonged bulk. Fat chick, loving the wieners. The dogs want out. They definitely did. They just want to get by my wife. Stein, when weight stops on a bulk cut, do you adjust calories week by week or every other week? I kind of watch things closely in my clients. Like if we get to a week where things are not moving, then we're looking at, are the calories consistent and what do we need to get things moving? So if things have been consistent calorie rise over the course of a week, it's probably time to make an adjustment. We don't want to sit around and not be we want to be proactive. So adding 150 calories in, we're very conservative in our calorie additions or subtractions, and they aren't going to cause huge weight changes. But it's okay to come with small changes after about a week. When I'm bulking and cutting, I usually only adjust every month. Aloha, big fella. What's going on? Thanks for your advice regarding the cut. 3 kilos down in 4 weeks. Good. Keep it up and drive on and get it over with. Everyone click like. Thank you. I need an I was first YouTube live stream. Massive Iron. I was first. That's a fun idea. I'll see what I can do. On Team Massive, is it possible to keep a lifting and bulking log? We have a lifting log section. So each one can have your own thread, and you can keep responding to that thread, replying to that thread. Yes. How many inches are your legs? They look huge. Yeah, my legs, probably 26.5 at 22% body fat. I have legs that look, I just have I have what I guess you would call bodybuilder genetics in my legs. I have longer arms and shorter legs. And my legs tend to look bigger than they are. What is the most backhanded compliment someone can give you in the gym? let me think about this. What is the most backhanded compliment somebody can give you in the gym? How about, I always feel stronger after watching you lift. Right. Or, I felt really shitty about my body until I saw you wearing that stringer. All right. I've noticed a single dumbbell SP looks very different right versus left. Standing press? Not an issue. I mean, my left arm is weaker, so things can get a little bit more wacky. You have you have something going on with your bench. Sorry, I had to stretch where things are kind of uneven, so I don't know if you might have something going on that might, carry over there as well, but don't worry about it. As long as you're not injured or picking up strains, you're fine. We're doing 10-pound bulks. Obviously, the first several days, you're going to see the scale bounce up. 2, 3, 4 pounds, yeah. When would you start counting? Usually after day 5-ish, 4 or 5. like not specifically in all cases, but make the change. And usually 3, 4, or 5, it's going to level off. And that's when we really start to zero in. So you got to account for 2, 3, 4 pounds. And then that's kind of going to be the plus minus. Andy Mars, perfectly describing why I'm okay with slowly adding weight to my squats. No issue at all moving slowly on squats or deads. None at all. Take your time. These are lifts that take time to master for most people. They are unforgiving lifts that can beat up your body. And we tend to rush with this linear progression stuff or accelerated progression before our lower back is always ready. So never rush. My family said that at the end of my 10-pound cut, my face looked really thin. It probably did. And my face at the end of my bulk is just right. Any advice? Their vote doesn't count. I mean, you're on a mission. You're doing what you're doing, right? So you probably did look a little thinner in the face. I lose a lot of weight from my face when I get around 238. So you guys will be able to tell when I get around 238. Got a couple, 2-3 pounds to go. But yeah, I mean, that's great, but you're on a mission, right? So just stick to the mission. 10 pounds is trivial. It's not like it's unhealthy. Paladin purchased a pair of VersaGrip Pros, and amazing is all I can say. Glad to hear that. They will save you a lot of pain. I weigh 255, and my goal is 220. Not far away. 35 pounds is reasonable. Strength training 3 to 4 days a week. Calorie intake 2,500 is a little on the high end. Not saying you can't lose weight at 2,500, but that's usually going to really slow it down for most people. I would stay at 2,200 ish and get the damn cut over with, right? You're probably going to feel like you're losing some strength. You are. Your glycogen's low. Your bench is going to struggle, but don't prolong your cut. Oh, and thanks for tuning in. I didn't get VersaGrips, but recently got some similar. That's good. There's a lot of good quality options out there. The only reason why I mentioned VersaGrips is because I've had mine for 16 years now, and they still are going. So I can only speak to the quality and reliability of VersaGrips, but there are some other options out there, some of them less expensive. In a typical workout, how many sets on average would you say you spend doing compounds, big lifts? Let's analyze my chest workout from yesterday. It's a sliding scale. I mean, whatever you consider a big lift. I did bench. I did 4 sets of 10 on bench. No, I did back yesterday. But let's look at my chest workout. I did 4 sets of 10 with 245. Sorry, I'm stiff and sore. I'm sore. I'm really sore. I did 4 sets of bench, 245, 4x10. Then I did 3 sets of dumbbell bench. Then I did 3 sets of barrel press, which is a compound movement, but a lower, less intense big lift. Then I did 3 sets of pec deck, only because there's nothing else to do in the gym. Then I did 3 sets of JM press and 3 sets of tricep extensions. So a little bit of a sliding scale. I'm back. My lower back's a little bit tender, so I didn't deadlift yesterday. But I did 3 sets of pendlay rows, 3 sets of inverted rows, 3 sets of lat pull downs, 3 sets of seated cable rows, 3 sets of easy bar curls, 3 sets of dumbbell curls. Sometimes I do finisher work. Lately, I've just been trying to get in the groove. I usually don't do more than really 3 sets of lighter isolation type of stuff. Let me get a drink. What are the common attributes, habits of successful people you've come across? Consistency. Usually they don't sit around naming their excuses. I don't see successful people running around endlessly talking about their excuse. It's been a week. Usually they're in the break room getting out their planned meal, right? They go through the same shit as everybody else, but they don't let their excuses get in the way. Usually they plan, they have structures. If you want to be successful, the framework is having a plan or a structure. Not always I'm going to eat at the same time, but having a lot of the same meals planned, knowing what you're going to eat, knowing when you're going to work out, knowing what you're going to work out, that facilitates a lot of success, and that with consistency over time. Sam, on a cut, I cannot lose more than 1 pound a week. Eat less. I don't care if you feel like garbage. Is that okay? If you want to drag it out, yeah. I'm not trying to be hard on you, Sam. If you want to drag it out, go ahead. But, part of it is you got to let your body acclimate, right? What are your food choices? Is this insulin related? Are you trying to eat too frequently? Part of this is fighting back. Is 1 pound a week okay? Yeah. But it's not going to be okay if you drag this out and you fall off the cut. So it is if it's sustainable. If you just have 4 pounds to lose, you said, should I just push for 2 pounds of fat loss and push through? Yeah, man, get it over with. You really want to cut for 8 more weeks? Sam, Sitfu, suck it the fuck up. Go hard, Sam. It's not that much of a calorie difference. You're not going to die. You got this. What would it be generally reasonable volume for intermediates? My 72 hard sets per week is a good place to start. And intermediates, they're going to kind of, they're going to add naturally or subtract naturally. But I can't do more than 72 hard sets a week. I can't. Can you have phases where you do more volume? Absolutely. What's a rare, unconventional piece of equipment you wish every gym had? Probably the leverage squat is a top one. I like the machine pullover for the back. I feel like I like doing that more than the lat prayer. But it's kind of a fringe exercise. Leverage squat would be a big one. I think that would be at the top of my list. Is there a value in starting your chest day with incline and then moving on to bench? No, you can do that. You don't have to start with bench. Zach, trying out the Versa grips today. Let me know what you think. Big Dan. How does the width of your stance on good morning shift the focus of the muscles? Well, I don't do good mornings typically for the lower back. If you want to do them more for the lower back, it's not so much about the stance as it's about driving the butt back. So a wider stance, like when you're doing an RDL, you drive the butt back to lower the weight, right? And that'll put stress on your hamstrings. That's getting that stretch on the hamstrings we want, that stress. On a good morning, you're doing the same thing with the bar, and if you're trying to stretch the hamstrings, it's a good idea to have a wider stance, and then you lower the weight by driving your butt back. If you don't want to stress the old hammer-rooskies and you want to stretch the lower back, you do more of a hinge while keeping the core braced. Does that make sense? So the shift isn't so much the stance. It has to do with how you're driving the butt back or how you're hip hinging. What's your opinion on the fly press? Like the barrel press? I think so. I like the barrel press. I'm doing it right now. Good exercise. To your point in the home gym, I'm fortunate that I have the home gym and the rec center. I can do big lifts at home. Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun to have some machine options, right? It's kind of a good balance. Sometimes I just want to go to the gym, regular gym, and do some stuff. I've seen studies saying dumbbell flat and incline press are no. Let this stuff go, guys. This is all bullshit. Over the course of 10 years, none of this stuff matters. Use a good exercise variety. It's not like you're going to do dumbbell bench. I'm not making fun of you, Brendan. You need to unplug from this horse shit. It's not like you're going to do dumbbell bench. Like one guy just does dumbbell bench over 10 years, and one guy just does barbell bench over 10 years, and like one's vastly different. The difference would be super trivial. Like one molecule of muscle, theoretically, in one study. But lifting doesn't work like that. Lifting's far more complex. We have an exercise selection, 4 exercises for chest each week. Lifting's far more complex. It's about hard training and a reasonable exercise selection. All this stuff is just chasing ghosts, man. It's just time wasted. It's not necessary, required. You're not missing out on gains. Do the 4 exercises you like and crush them. You don't have to do the barbell bench. But certainly don't elevate one lift over the other as if it's like God tier and the other is going to be futile. That's what we do with training frequency. Training frequency, the robot center, march, march, march. Training frequency is far superior, right? Like, no, it's not. Over the course of 10 years, it's not going to make any fucking difference. Because those that are consistent and training hard and training their nutrition, training frequency is far superior, right? The robots march in to the fancy music. Horse shit. You guys are elevating this. You guys are missing the big picture. Like barbell bench. Some guy did a study. Some guy can go fuck himself. I don't care. It's not that science is bad. I'm not anti-science. It just doesn't fucking matter. It's not in the big picture. You have 4 exercises. You're going to do those 4 exercises over 10 years or whatever. You're going to get big. You're going to get as big as you ever need to get. Doesn't matter which ones you do, really. That's what's missing. We're doing these little short-term snapshotty things that completely lack the big perspective. That they get big and strong, it's not one exercise versus the other. It's picking 4 and running with them and going hard or whatever. Right? It's just the same thing with training splits. Frequency robot, right? Must train, frequency won't get big. Like, that's a stupid fucking lie. It's ridiculous. Applied over 10 years, any trivial difference is completely dissipated. Completely. Dumbbells and sorry for my show tunes, right? Channeling Jim Brewer a little bit. Started From last night and absolutely hooked. Yeah, I love the show From. I'm not sure if you guys are watching it, but I'm on episode 7 and loving it. +2 overhead. That's it, man. 135/7 is a really good. That's kind of my first tier quality goal. From there, 165 is super hard to get. 185 is very rare. So nice work. What rep range do you recommend doing pull downs in? 10 to 12, depending on feel. If you're going to make another flavor a massive way, what would it be? I don't know, man. My manufacturer, the plant that does the flavoring, they nailed chocolate and they nailed salty caramel. And look, having been in the supplement industry, I've tasted a lot of flavors that were nasty. So um, probably vanilla is missing, but something a little bit more fun than vanilla. You know what I'm saying? Cookies and cream, maybe. Only doing Bulgarians for the rest of your life, or living with Greg Doucette. Dude, given that choice, I'd herd myself off a cliff. Oh, man. Fuck Bulgarians. Excuse my language. I hate Bulgarians, but it's not that they're hard. I just don't find them enjoyable. I just find other quad exercises. I'd rather do, like my normal leg workout and live with Greg Doucette. I don't think in the real world Greg's that hard to get along with. Greg's got a thing. He makes videos about other people. It's gossipy. I'm not putting it down. It is what it is, right? You do you, big feller. You do you, big fella. I'll do me. But I'm diplomatic unless somebody gets in my space or somebody just relentlessly tries to tell me I'm living the wrong way, right? So as long as Greg doesn't do that, as long as we can have 2 bathrooms, right? Because I'm not sharing a bathroom with Greg Doucette. I do not want to walk in the bathroom after he steamed a hot one, right? No, we're not doing that. I need my own personal space. I'm only feeling numbness in my hand. A numbness. I don't know, man. Probably just pinching something off. I'd use a wider grip or maybe consider using a safety squat bar if you can. Have you been watching the tragic story? We can look a little bit, watch a few things. Last night. VersaGrips A+++. Buy them and join Team Massive. TeamMassiveIron.com. Nicholas, people say taking a week off or reloading, they come back strong. This one person said it in the comment section on a video. What happens? Look, we have fatigue. It's far more complex than this. And that's a generic statement. And we need to ignore generic statements, right? They're not applicable to everybody. They're just generic crap, junk statements that are said by influencers or people in comment section, and they're not real life, right? Lifting's far more complicated than that. We have fatigue, and we have cumulative fatigue. Say you've been training 5 days in a row, and you have cumulative fatigue here, and then you have your strength. If your cumulative fatigue goes up, it becomes harder for your strength to shine during a workout. So let's say you're right here, and then you lift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 days in a row. Right? You are fried, brother. You are fried, brother. Right here, you're fried. And your strength when you go in the gym on day 15 is going to be like you're so fatigued, it's harder to show your strength levels, right? You're fatigued. So this is called overreaching, right? Your fatigue is a little bit too elevated, and it's preventing your strength from shining. So you're not getting strength gains. The reason why you're coming back stronger is because you're recovering. And your existing strength is able to perform better. So guys that tend to work out way too much, or guys that are entering the overreaching zone, that can be true. This is one reason why recovery is important. Does that make sense? Nicholas, can you quickly go over your upper posterior split? There's a video on the channel. If you go to the main page and search upper posterior, you will find it. And I build one live. So I'm going to show you guys. Hold on a sec. We'll do this live. So I'll show you guys how to search, okay? I'll show you guys how to search. Just 1 second. Massive iron YouTube. All right, we'll find it. Okay. So if you go to the search, just making sure I got everything squared away here. Let me present the screen. Just making sure I had the right window up. Okay. So you got this whole searcheroo. You do upper posterior, hit enter. How to build an upper posterior, done real work on camera. Okay, so you just search upper posterior, and I got a whole video where I actually build one out live on camera. It'll help you guys build one out. Tenga Tapawan. Is it possible to train 4 days a week, upper lower, while having a physical job? I've done it. I would say machinist. It's not always easy, but I wouldn't do a full body split. That's too much per day. I do my upper posterior. You can do it every third day, or 3 days a week, every other day, which would be 3.5 days a week or 4 days a week. Not easy. Just get that food intake up there. Andreas, I've noticed that I have a bit of aversion to sugar after keeping it at bay. That's good. I really think more and more we've become a society that has a lot of sugar and fast food addiction that we don't take seriously enough. Plus, no more collabs. Not sure what you mean, Gary. Got lost there. If you read this, I love you to the moon and back, unfortunately. Thank you. What will I miss out on if I do if I do only weighted dips and chins? Like only? Like as in only 2 exercises? Tons. You become really good at weighted dips and chins. Backhanded compliment. How about, that was a great lift for someone as small as you. There you go. On a junk day, is it okay to randomly mix in? Yeah, it is. But if you're doing a close grip bench, you really don't want to get so random where everything doesn't have lasting value. Like if you only did a close grip every 5 weeks randomly, you're just going to increase the injury risk and decrease any value. So really you want to be only a couple weeks out from any lift in a rotation. So you want to have a tight rotation or grouping of lifts, and you can kind of, like on curls, I do pinwheels, I do dumbbells, I do easies, I do drags. What I do kind of is like free jazz, but I never try to get more than 2 weeks out from any lift. MCM, more exercises. Faye Dam, last call for questions. We have like 5 left. Last call. How do you go about your relative aggressive cuts? Remove all non-plant carbs. First off, on a relatively aggressive cut, for satiety, for feeling full, or our priority is getting as much food volume as we can. That'll help us feel more full. It won't make us never feel hungry, but it'll help us. So to do that, you want to get your protein as close to 40% of your calories as possible. To do that, you pretty much have to rely on lean protein. Pretty much. Leaner, like seafood, lean seafood, egg whites, lean cuts of meat. So you got your protein at around 40%. You want to drive your fats down to about 20%, but not under. That'll reduce all the really high calorie fatty stuff and while keeping you pretty healthy. So basically you're going to rely on a lot of lean proteins and a lot of calorie light plant-based options. Does that make sense?
Okay, you've got the boys again. Have a bride coming at 1:30. Oh,
all right.
Shit.
She's swearing on camera. I don't even know what to say. Jim Brewer's, wow, thanks. He's very, very entertaining, very crazy. What is a good milestone for the bench? Well, there's a tier of milestones. Like 185 by 5 is like first tier, doing good. 225 by 5 is like doing very good. 275 by 5 is doing great. Those are kind of the dumbed down tiers. Tiers, not tears. Mikey, thought about you this week. Hit penalties. Good. Glad to hear it, Mike. You think it's a waste of time targeting different heads of the bicep? Well, I don't overthink this stuff, right? It's not a waste of time, but your exercise choice has to be reasonable. You know, I like to have that's one reason I like to have a good exercise variety. It's one reason I like to have exercise variety on triceps, you know, close grips, jam press, cable tricep extensions, even dumbbell kickbacks. Hand being numb could be carpal tunnel. Yes, it could. It could also be from the pressure you have getting under the bar. Who knows? It could be from inflammation from that pressure, putting pressure on the nerve. We're not doctors. We just play ones on TV. With regards to massing up, you said I could do a 15-pound bulk. Well, once you want to do like a 15-pound bulk over about 6 months. And then you could, depending on how you look, you might gain 10 pounds of muscle, 8 pounds of muscle. You might look great, man. You might decide I only want to do an 8-pound cut. You might decide you want to continue to bulk for another 8 pounds. I don't like long cuts because they get really grindy. So I would do a quick hit and run cut and get back at it. Usually nothing longer than a month. I'm currently bulking. Is it okay to go in a calorie deficit on some days? No, you don't do this. This is not the way to go. It's going to bring down your calorie average. This is not the way to do things. You have to have a calorie average. You want to be consistent. You're recovering on days off. You're growing on days off. Don't do that. If you're gaining too much weight, you're not going to gain that much fat on a controlled bulk anyway. 10-pound bulk over 4 or 5 months, it's going to be true, you know, a few pounds of fat. You can knock that off easily. Don't get into this game where you eat less on off days. It's just a waste. It's a waste of your bulk. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Love the ode to your wife on Instagram. I appreciate that. All right, guys, we are done. 2 hours and 24 minutes. I sincerely don't go anywhere. I sincerely apologize for the sound being out at the beginning, and I'll make sure next week to double check it. But you guys, if I missed your question, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, slide into my DM, or watch for Instagram Q&As. And if you need coaching, if you need workouts, check out my website, superlivingtoday.com. I also have great whey protein, apparel, all kinds of good stuff. I'm not an apparel company, not a supplement company, but by supporting the little guys, you give me $5 to eat dinner. All right, guys, I appreciate you watching. I'm here every Friday. Please come back, and we are out of here.
It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.